listen to this again? I'm pretty sure that's what Fred's saying.
We have our studio dog, Fred, here, who just gave us a big old sigh as he's staring up at us as we get started here today. And Colleen, the Great Northern Sexcast is getting some serious action out there in the podcast sphere. Let's talk about that for a second. Welcome, everybody, by the way, if you're new.
Yes, hi there. Welcome. I'm Colleen, one of the owners of Fantasy Gifts. We sponsor the podcast, and now you get to listen to me and Kelly. And then today, Megan is with us. So
hello.
Say hi first. I have spent the past 2 weeks figuring out podcast land. So we are on Spreaker is where this site is sort of hosted. I guess that's the right word. But we're also on SoundCloud and Tumblr, and I'm pushing. And here's the deal: I could link us to YouTube. And folks really like us on YouTube. Now, Russian bots really like us on YouTube because I keep getting comments from it's Cyrillic. I'm gonna go with the fact that it's Russian. I don't really know because I can't read it.
Yeah.
But when I click on it, it's just a Russian porn site. So I've been making it go away because I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And but it can't be all of them. And I'm just really excited. And eventually, you're gonna find us on iTunes and iHeart. It takes a while.
It does.
2 weeks to get into that, and it has been quite the education. And then hopefully, once we get all this taken care of, and I'm on iHeart and I'm on iTunes and a few other things, there's also the possibility of an app. So you'll be able to go to your Android phone or your iPhone and download the Great Northern Sexcast phone app.
Okay.
And everything will just get shot to you directly. But I want to make sure that the wording's right and the logo's right and everything, because once I press send on that, I can't change anything.
Right. Right.
So it's been a little nerve-wracking. It is way, way out of my comfort level. But I'm figuring it out, and it's sort of fun. And we have, in 2 weeks, we've had more plays than I think we got in the first 4 or 5 months of when we started. And so I'm, thank you.
Yeah, no.
Thank you so much. I'm just thrilled.
We are so excited to be here. And so I thought it was worth stepping back for a second and just kind of reintroducing ourselves a little bit, because there's a lot of people joining us that don't know our almost nearly 3-year history here talking about all things sex related. And can I just say, you sent me something, it was like, good morning. You sent me the Naked Men Doing Yoga photo series. I believe that was out of Australia.
I'm not sure. I was just sort of looking at the pictures, and I'm not one to objectify people, but I don't do yoga. But I'm looking at these, and I can see that these are not just models they hired to do these poses, because you have to be able to do yoga to do this stuff. So these.
Did you see them, Megan?
Yes, I did see them.
They're just beautiful.
And the art of the shots, because I love the human body as art.
Yeah.
Some people like landscapes. Some people like animals. Some people like still like bowls of fruit. I think the human body is beautiful. Most of the art in my house is somehow the human body.
Okay.
And so when I'm flipping through this, I'm just like, wow. Yeah. I mean, and honestly, it's stunning. It's beautiful. I'm not even sure when I looked at it that it was even sexual. It was just a stunning pictures of the human body.
They were, I mean, first of all, these guys are all extremely accomplished. I mean, some of the positions I've never even seen before. I mean, one-hand suspensions and aerodynamic, but they were on these rocks, and with, it was just, we'll put the link up, right, Megan?
Yeah, we sure will. Don't want you to miss out on that.
Oh, no. Okay.
So what fun things did you find us this week? There's always something heading towards us with all the research.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got piles of research here. One was one that we omitted I forgot to include it last week. It was the one that you found last week. Do you remember Boonga Bonga?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay. Do you want to hit that?
Once again, probably because, my family's been in this business for close to 40 years now. I've been doing this since 1989. My friends will find interesting things and make sure that I see them or get tagged. And one of them is about a Japanese video game in which you have to, there's like a butt and you spank it.
It's a spanking arcade game.
Yes. And I just laughed. And then what was really funny about this is that I see this, and like 2 days later, it's on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, which is one of my most favorite radio shows. They use it as something, and I just went, the whole universe was saying that I needed to know about the Japanese spanking arcade game.
So is it like whack-a-mole for an ass?
Kind of. And they're the characters on the game, so there's like the ex-girlfriend, the ex-boyfriend, the mother-in-law, the gangster, the gold digger, the prostitute, and the perverted child molester. And you pick your wicked character and then you spank it. The look on Megan's face.
I just want to make sure I understand. So you choose to spank the perverted child molester, not play as the perverted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What happens when one of these characters you choose decides they really like it?
Unclear.
Is that level in that game?
Unclear. I do.
Turns out the mother-in-law's like, hey, all right, come on.
Now that would be a turn of events that could be even more disturbing than the idea that you want to spank her.
No, I was flipping through trying to figure out, because, once I looked it up, I looked up a bunch of different articles on it, because, of course, not just one person covered this or one news place, but I couldn't actually figure out what the goal of the game was versus spanking or how you won. But honestly, it's just an ass and you hit it. And spanking, and I was like, and then it just interesting. It came up at all sorts of like weird video games or Japanese. I mean, it showed up, and I'm like, we've sold butts. We sell butts. We have, they've been on the table. We gave it a good smack. But I never thought, hey, this would make a good video game.
Mm-hmm. I hope it's a much more durable material than the butts that we are used to smacking as well. Yeah, just imagining like cyber skin after a year or two of an arcade.
These things are wonderful. Yeah, they're wonderful items, but you do need to take care of them.
Yes.
So just randomly hanging out in an arcade is not what's going to happen. I mean, you take care of take care of your masturbator, and you wash it, and you give it a little powder. Mm-hmm. Pretty much a cornstarch with a couple of different things in there. You can keep this thing. But some of this stuff, no, if you don't take care of it, it's bad.
Yeah, I think I'll stick to the bongo games.
Bongo, yeah. Mm-hmm. I like my Plants vs. Zombies, actually. Okay, you guys, this one, this literally channels something about Mary and Dumb and Dumber. And this really happened, apparently, in England, I think it was. Could be the worst date in Tinder history that involved poop, firefighters, and a GoFundMe campaign. Shall I tell you the story?
Please do.
Yes, I mean, seriously. Okay.
I like, honestly, poop and firefighters and Tinder, but I have to admit, the GoFundMe is the intriguing portion there.
Oh, and trust me, how we get there is even better. Okay, it's well worth this one. So, these two Brits were on a first date. The women went to use the bathroom and had that nightmare situation where the poop wouldn't flush. So, again, it's kind of like a politician. It's not the crime, it's the cover-up. This is where we're going with this. Okay. So she tries everything she can to get it to go down. Doesn't work. So then she gets it out, and I don't want to think about how she did that, but she did. Wraps it in toilet paper, and tried to toss it out the window. So then she had to confess what she did. Now, I'm going to jump ahead to the fact he explains the story in the GoFundMe campaign. She said he was concerned, so they went outside to get it and put it in the trash and just put the whole thing behind them, but they were thwarted by what they're referring to as a design quirk, in which the window was made up of two non-opening windows and the feces got stuck in between. So think about Marvin or Anderson, those really cool windows that have whatever, and you have now a turd in between your two windows.
So it must have it's like she opened up the top and it must have dropped into
between the paint.
Yes,
right. So like, how do you move on if like it's now encased in the window, right? You've got
it's art. This is art,
right? Right. So then they started to climb up and from the top of the window to reach down, and then she got stuck, and they had to call the fire department. So then. Fire and Rescue Service came and got her, rescued her, but now the window cost $400 to repair, so he started a GoFundMe campaign, and he has raised $2,500, the American equivalent of $2,500, And they're like, it's either the best GoFundMe campaign and or the worst date ever, all wrapped into one.
Oh, that is so...
They should be... Hopefully they're telling the story at their wedding. Wouldn't that be like the best ending to this whole thing?
I'm honestly thinking that the best man speech or the maid, where do you go from there? You just do you just do a PowerPoint of this? Do they take photo? I mean,
there are photos. I've seen at least one with her jammed halfay.
Have you seen this, Meg? Oh, you've seen this. So you were able to keep quiet. I read this and I was dying. A poor thing. It's true.
How old were they? Were they like in their 20s, 40s?
I don't know. They had to be 20s. I don't know. I think a grown ass adult would be like, you know what?
Your toilet's not flushing.
I shit and it didn't flush. Get over it. I'm just like, if you're gonna have, like, if you want to have sex with me, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to get inside of my body, you'll just have to deal with the fact that it has bodily functions.
Well, and something came outside of it. So there you go. There you go. Okay.
Oh, God. I also don't like that the GoFundMe bugs me.
I think it's funny. I'm sorry, you guys. I think it's hysterical. Okay.
Someone GoFunded me for like an egg salad sandwich, so why not a brand new window that was broken in a weird Tinder date?
And if you get a good laugh out of this story, which I certainly did, I'd pay $5 for that. You know? I would.
Yeah. Was I entertained? It's sort of like is it Patronus, whatever that whatever site that is. It's going through. That's a lot like that. Am I entertained by this? And that's worth $5.
Right.
That's but now he's got $2,500 for not.
For having a shitty date.
For having a shitty date.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect.
I hope he gets a really, really good window.
I do too. I do too.
Maybe some curtains. One that opens.
Okay, yeah. All right, I love this one. This one's funny. 4 things men secretly want in bed but are too afraid to ask. And I was surprised at where this one went. And this comes from research out of the Indiana University School of Public Health in Bloomington. So it's a U.S. research project that involved how many?
Great Britain or Canada or Australia?
No, this was actually done here. Okay, so believe it or not, men and women both want affectionate sex the most. So they, the 4 things that contradict the stereotypes are kissing more often during sex. This is things that guys want, by the way. Cuddling, saying sweet and romantic things, and making the room feel more romantic during sex. What do you think?
Making the room feel
like candles and maybe the pheromone sprays that you guys.
Candles are just too dangerous.
You're so pragmatic.
No, I know this because there was an event eons and eons ago. The gentleman that it happened to is no longer with us. But in the throes of passion, he did in fact, either he or his partner launched a feather pillow, into a candle.
Oh, God.
In a wooden building. And so then there was 2 nude people trying to stomp out burning feathers, and other people coming out and stomping out burning feathers. And
I'm laughing.
I was rather young at the time, and all this stuff's going on. And I actually was not in the building at the time, even though I had a spot in the building. And I came back to this smell, and the stuff's going through this and explaining, and I'm like, I can't believe I missed it because I was giggling too. But I thought about it, and I said, and what I learned was, no candles during sex.
Okay.
Maybe during dinner. No. I cannot. I saw the burned feathers and the pillow and the smell, and all this sort of stuff. And no, that's it. There have been no candles during sex.
He needs to. Too bad he couldn't have started a GoFundMe to get him a feather pillow.
This was in the 80s. So yes, well, long before
pre-internet.
Yes.
God, everything's gotten more fun since the internet, don't you think?
To some extent, yes. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, people shared before, but now 3 or 4 people would know, and now 3 or 4 million people know.
Yeah, and it never goes away. Just FYI. Yeah. This was interesting. What are women doing to make their vaginas smell better? Eating pineapple.
Take a bath. I've heard the pineapple thing before.
Mm-hmm. Have you?
For guys, too.
Yeah.
That pineapple is good for bodily fluids in general.
Yeah. Well, basically, they're saying, okay, yeah, kind of, sort of. The doctor quoted in the article Mary Rosser. She's an MD, PhD, OBGYN, and she's in New York. And she said, yeah, there are certain foods that can influence your vagina's pH level, which can in turn change the smell and taste. But she said, really, that's what everybody should be striving for. Healthy food, maintaining that good pH balance. Mm-hmm. So live bacteria, probiotics. So yogurt with live active cultures, things like that.
But you eat the yogurt. No.
Right.
Yeah,
good. Yes.
I'm not. No.
It's hilarious that we've learned that we have to point that out, but we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do. And they just said, be careful. Too much sugar can lead to thrush, which can get you a yeast infection. So,
yeah. Well, that's much better advice. Like, eat pineapple as opposed to, like, anything on
the glitter
goop, like glitter bomb, jade egg, vaginal steaming douche kit, No, just eat some damn fruit.
and call it a day.
Yeah, we do sell Kegel items, and they do work for many women. Sometimes it needs weight. It's going through there. It's going through there. But the whatever $100 yawning egg, no, not necessary.
And they are not apparently for Kegel exercises. I was informed by someone specifically the jade does some sort of like harmonious energy vibe. It's more of like a
feng shui for your
feng shui for your vagina than actual Kegel exercises.
You have to point your snatch in the right direction to have sex. Sorry, it's just the word that popped into my head. I'm not sure, but because I know that in feng shui they're supposed to, certain things are supposed to be in certain
parts
of the
placement.
Room and all that sort
it
of
is
stuff.
the art of placement.
So where are you placing
for optimum
where
energy?
are you placing your nether regions for your egg? Oh my god.
Yeah. Hey man.
I heart me a good sex toy, but I don't need to have any feng shui about it.
No mystical
No,
vibes.
there is no mystery to the sex toy. We're just having fun with it.
So apparently there was, I don't know if it's been won yet or not, but there was apparently a giant lottery going on over in Europe, and so they did a poll about what would you do with the money or whatever, and this particular poll took a different twist, which I actually find a little more entertaining, albeit the results were somewhat depressing. Okay, so 25% of Brits would do this for their partner, for approximately $133,000 US, and that is leave them. Wow. 1 in 4. 1 in 50 would be willing to cut ties for less than half of that.
Oh, Jesus.
Isn't that sad?
Oh.
But then they went further with it. Men were more likely to be tempted to run back to an ex, while women would prefer to elope with someone superior to their current squeeze.
Well, women. It's like, well, if you're going to shut them off for some money, push them to the side, at least upgrade.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Why? So the guys weren't worried about upgrading. They just wanted...
They were pining for someone.
Oh, okay.
So 1 in 8 people surveyed said they would consider trying to get an ex back if they won, despite being in another relationship. So that's a little disconcerting.
So no. If they won the money, or if the ex won the money and they were trying to get
if they won, they'd go and try to woo them back.
Oh, so they think... okay.
Yeah. 10% said they would use their winnings to improve their current partner in some way. And 31% said they would get them plastic surgery to make them more attractive.
Oh. Well, I suppose, these are the types of questions that were asked. So, hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a little weird, though.
Well, and the last one I think is pretty innocuous. 1/3 of the people said they would buy their partner a new wardrobe so they're easier on the eye. So what?
Oh, that's God, I want to do that right now. Do I have to win the money first?
No. Shopping is a beautiful thing. In fact, you know what? That just reminded me. God, I just had something from my 20s flashback. There's this really cool, and I don't know if we have any place like this really here, but there's this really cool place in Newport Center, and they had a bar for the guys. to sit there and drink while you tried on your clothes. Like if the husbands/boyfriends or whatever, or whoever
It's
was
the entire
with you.
Mall of America has plenty of bars,
But it's in the store.
But it's actually in the store. Yeah.
And that was super cool. And I had this one very wealthy boyfriend who loved to go to that store, and so did I. So it was really fun.
I don't mind shopping. I have a difficult time. I am short. I am wide. I have tiny little legs. Finding things that fit me is a pain in the ass. Mm-hmm. But I don't mind, like, whatever. And then, but once I find something, I buy, like, multiples of it, so that might have something to do with it. But I also don't mind grocery shopping. And I don't know. It doesn't, I know that it's absolute torture for a large part of the population. But I don't know. It never bothered me.
I don't know. I'd use that money. It's to buy your partner's clothes, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. That's. I'll deal with some shopping if it means I get a well-dressed man at the end of it.
There's something about a sharp-dressed man. I agree.
Yeah, I love me a ZZ Top song. Yep, that's true.
Yeah. So this was kind of interesting. So this was a large group of people. It surveyed 4,800 males and 6,700 females aged 16 to 74, okay? So this is a humongous study. Talking about people losing interest in sex. 34% of female participants and 15% of males reported having lost interest in sex for 3 months or more during a previous year. So they're talking about how widespread this really is, especially it's a third of females, easily. Far fewer, a sixth of men, but yeah. So they're saying, here's what you can do to get your interest back. And this is what they found through everybody that was willing to talk about sex. Mm-hmm. Sexual talk. I mean, What do you think? Yeah. Not just communicate about what you want, but just talk about it, period. What do you think of that?
That makes sense, because I would say that it's too easy to get into a rut. And I don't care what it is. I mean, if you're sitting around and you just, it's, objects in rest tend to stay at rest. Objects not having sex tend to not have sex. Mm-hmm. And once again, if you're talking about it, but folks get exhausted. I mean, what if you end up taking care of a parent, or your kid's going through something, or there's a job change, or for either partner, or stuff going through there? I mean, you're just tired.
Yeah, that's true.
So probably talk about sex and get some sleep. I'm going to add get some sleep in there.
And eat some pineapple.
Because almost some
pineapple. For good measure.
For good measure. But it's nice to know to some extent that kids. Everyone focuses on the woman that doesn't want to have sex, but 1/6 of men in there are like, I'm too busy for it right now.
Yeah,
I've lost interest.
Yeah. So this is not funny, but it's funny. And
okay.
And I'm going to state for the record that if I were the body involved in this story, I wouldn't be mad. Okay.
Okay.
This happened in Denver. And 5 nurses were suspended for 3 weeks without pay for peeping at a dead man's genitals.
Okay, I saw that. And I'm just like, I'm not, if your medical records and all that stuff is, once you're dead, is not protected by HIPAA anymore. I was curious about whether or not your actual physical body was. But then I'm like, well, it's just in really, really bad taste. I mean, I just, at least someone didn't take a picture of it.
That we know of.
That we know of. But
that we know of.
I'm like, yeah.
It's gross. I mean,
it's just, like if someone, do folks peek if someone's, I don't, it just never occurred to me to go peek at someone. But then again, I'm not in the medical, I'm not there. I mean, how did they find out? But yeah, I don't think that you should be, staring at other people, whether, talk about not having consent.
Right, exactly. You need to agree to donate any of your body parts and whatever after death. So I assume that your legal body autonomy would go through, include your corpse as well.
Yeah, I do. And I guess what I'm saying is, they don't come out and say it. I mean, they do, but they couch it quite. The guy had a huge schlong.
Okay.
And
so
for nurses
to
gawk at it,
dick.
It had to be something extraordinary. And I think it was the freak aspect. And was it unprofessional and rude? Absolutely. But I don't know.
There is a curiosity factor, but no, I mean, it leads to the fact that other people, I guess you have to give the person autonomy even in death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard, though, for nurses, like, they have to be removed, in a way. Like, you can't think that dead bodies are gross or be icked out or even think about the morbid factor. It's like cops, where you have to mentally remove yourself. So, I mean, I think that's part of their mentality, to be like, oh, well, hey, it's a big old dick, let's look at it, and not, because they have to train themselves to not think of dead bodies as real human beings that they, that just passed, I would imagine.
No, my mom was an ER nurse for years, and she would just come home, and sometimes it's like, yeah, you don't want to know. How was your day? You don't want to know.
Yeah.
Because she worked out at Waconia. And, that was before it was like a suburb. It was still a farming community. And some of the stuff farm accidents would come in were just horrific.
I bet.
And they would have to medevac them out to HCMC, but they still had to deal with them, temporarily. And then there was one, just some others. I came over and I glanced over at what she was typing one day, and it was the proper way of transferring a body that had passed away because something had been done wrong, and she wanted, was updating something. I'm like, well, that's just sort of, but she was, the whole document was about the respect of the body. So
yeah. No, and I do agree. But yeah, I mean, it's very sophomoric, the whole thing, and rude. James Woods, Amber Tamblyn. James Woods I'm familiar with, the other not so much. But they're in a Twitter war, and I think it's hilarious that Twitter wars make news. But basically, there was...
I'm sorry, Twitter also runs the country.
Right, well, that's true, too. Right, I know.
Of course.
Right, yeah. But it was James Woods and Armie Hammer, kind of sparring on Twitter about a movie that Hammer's in, and James Woods made a NAMBLA reference, North American Men Boy Love Association, very yucky. Mm-hmm. And he spewed back, and then allegedly this underage girl that Woods once, according to her, she accused him of hitting on her when she was 16, trying to take her and a friend to Vegas, and there's a big spat going on there.
Well, I've seen it, sort of poking around, and Miss Tamblyn is, I think, in her 30s now, so this would have been, 15, 16 years ago. More maybe even, and which would have made James Wood in his 50s at that time.
Yep.
And, honestly, I think if you were to, I think a big chunk of 50-year-old guys have probably hit on someone much younger than themselves, may not realizing how old it is. And you know what? I believe her. And I think that the majority of women have been hit on inappropriately in their entire lives. And it didn't happen, or it's going through there. I mean, it's an absolute perfect example of gaslighting. And she's like, and other folks are like, oh my God, that's right. Or they're coming out and saying, I mean, there's being hit on, and you can say I'm not interested, but it's the fact that it's continued.
Right.
It's a problem. Once again, and the fact that, she's like, I'm done not being believed. It happened, there you go, and I'm not, going any further. And we could randomly wander over to South there right now, find 20 women, and I'm guessing that 19 of them have probably inappropriately hit on when they were teenagers.
Oh, sure. Well, and I got to give this woman credit because her tweets are above board. You know what I mean? And she keeps it calm. And you know what I mean? So I give her more credibility because of the tone and the way that she writes them. You know what I mean? It's thoughtful. It's not, a pissing match from her standpoint. So I thought it was pretty interesting.
I think given the time frame too, it's not surprising. Or even in James Woods in the Hollywood of say Roman Polanski or Jack Nicholson or you know what I mean? Like that the generation where it's like, oh yeah, I'm 50 and you're, 13, 16, whatever, but what's wrong with that? Before it's like it's that old mindset, And it would not surprise me in the least either, because he comes off like a real douchebag.
Yeah. But kind of an interesting thing out there, too. 5 things that secretly turn women on. Let's see if we love or debunk these. Roller coasters, number 1.
No. There would be, 1 thing that makes Colleen vomit. Yeah, that would be it. Which is totally not a turn on. No, vomiting, no.
This study from the University of Texas, Austin, no joke, found that women find members of the opposite sex more attractive after a roller coaster because they're already breathing heavy and have a higher heart rate.
Well, that's not really turning them on. I could see, like, if your adrenaline is pumping and you're in a heightened state, that you could be like, that you would see someone more as more attractive. I guess I was originally hearing this as like, women are orgasming on roller coasters across the nation, and it's like, that I thought would be a little odd. Although I guess all the shaking,
yeah,
the carts, that does it.
Probably one of the old wooden roller coasters. I don't think it would probably happen on the smoother running metal tracks now.
Well, they're all pretty rough. Did you know that's fake? When you go up a hill and it clunks and clangs.
They do that on purpose?
It's completely fake. They could make it smooth as a baby's asshole, but they're trying to freak you out, so they fake it all. I heard that in a documentary.
Who knew? Well, thank you for that.
I mean, I like myself an old-fashioned roller coaster that goes up and down, but as soon as it goes upside down or goes backwards, dead meat.
Gotcha. Number 2 is the color of clothes. The University of Rochester found that women are more sexually attracted to men wearing what color, ladies?
Red.
Yep.
Everyone likes the red. I don't know what it is. You hear the same thing with men for women wearing red lipstick as well.
Yeah. Engorged body parts.
Yeah.
It's just a deep lizard brain. Although, honestly, I mean, a guy in a good suit, okay, put it this way. If anyone has got anything tailored for them, look better.
Oh, yeah.
It just does.
Well, and I'm sorry, but uniforms work for me, too. I like uniforms.
Sometimes I think a uniform can be too bulky, but if they've tailored it right, but that's, going through there.
That's not what you were saying about the police the other day.
Which one?
Friendly.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, no, he was a good-looking cop. Oh,
because you got the window smashed.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, good-looking cop, but he was, honestly, I wasn't... I sort of he was good looking, but honestly, the mom kicked in and I reprimanded the officer for climbing through the broken plate glass window.
Oh God!
It was a couple hours later, and I went.
Did you want to spank him?
I'm like, no, but I did go. What the hell are you doing that for? I mean, you've got an officer in the back at the back door. You're at the front door. You can wait for someone to come and open the door.
Don't get hurt.
It was. I mean, it's a plate. It was an old window. It was still plate glass. It was like death, like movie death.
Oh, like that scene in Ghost.
Yes, it was exactly
that. Oh, that was just...
And I'm like, what the hell are you... Ah!
Really scared me as a child.
I know.
Side note.
I reprimanded the officer.
There you go.
I mean, I just realized the mom gene kicked in.
You should have offered to spank him. That would have been classic under the circumstances, but I digress.
No, nice guy. The folks always, I've really, all the officers I've ever met in the stores are always
really nice.
Really nice, and they're dealing with stuff. Because a lot of times, I mean, I'm standing there looking at, a very expensive window I'm going to have to fix, plus board up, plus glass all over the damn place.
Yeah.
And
that's a bugger to clean up.
It's just although, honestly, it was a little bit easier than safety glass because that shatters in much smaller pieces.
Oh, okay.
And I was able to pick... I got gloves, and I was able to pick larger pieces.
Okay.
But,
in case anybody forgot, we're talking about 5 things that turn women on.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because I forgot for a minute. Mm-hmm. And this one I find a little suspect because of the source, the University of Florence, Italy. Red wine. I think they have an agenda.
Co-sponsored by Naples.
Yeah, the pizza people and the Chianti producers of Italy.
Okay, see, another thing that doesn't work for me because I'm allergic to it. I just puff up. So it doesn't work for me either.
Oh, I love red wine. 2 glasses a day, I'm in. 4, this one's kind of fun.
So the sorry, all of number 3 was essentially get drunk? Or...
No, just that women who drink 1 to 2 glasses of red wine a day have higher sex drives.
Oh, is there? I wonder if there's something specifically in wine.
Oh, there is.
Versus other...
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just allergic to it. Oh, well.
Yep. The next one came from an NPR study, men's natural scent. The male underarm pheromone, of course, I like it covered in right guard, but yes.
Yeah, I don't want a lot of extra scent for me with my nose. So I think my guy smells great, and he just has like a basic, deodorant. That's all he's ever worn, and I'm like, he smells amazing.
Yep.
Never puts it in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's funny. I mean, Carl, we talked about how nobody wears perfume anymore or men cologne. I mean, I don't know how the department store still gives so much real estate to all of that stuff because I don't wear regular perfume. I always use just like essential oil. So one year he's like, yeah, I used to like whatever it was that he wore. So I bought him some for Christmas and he wore it a couple times and it was really nice, but he just doesn't go back to it. It's just over, it feels like.
Was it Ralph Lauren in the late 80s, 90s, or something called Dracar or something? There was
Dracar Noir.
Yeah, there was a particular scent that the teenage boys are just covered in Axe body spray, which is hilarious. My nephew is almost through college now, but when he was a teenager, I guess my brother-in-law drove everyone to a dance and he practically had to hang his head out the window with the scent of that many Axe-soaked teenage boys in his car, which is better because honestly, because a lot of them were hockey players too. So
hockey players stink so bad. Oh my god!
My brother's car in high school. See, he went to a school that didn't have an ice rink, and they had an ice rink, so they would have to go to the ice rink, and then they would be stinky and get back in the car and go back to the school to use the shower.
Oh, hockey stunk.
You couldn't get within 10 feet of this car without smelling it.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, my God.
My sister had 3 boys that played hockey at home all at once, and I think, what the last one graduated in 2002, I think you can finally not smell any remnants of it after it's been painted like 3 times 15 years later. Finally. I am not kidding you. It's incredible. But the last one on the things that make women horny are dance moves. And let me specify, good dance moves.
I was about to say. Okay. Oh, I have several friends that are incredibly lucky to be married to men that are amazing dancers. They are so much fun to watch. Because you're just like,
It's cool.
Oh, it's great. It's like,
my family kind of likes to dance and swing and jitterbug and stuff, and we have taught Carl over the years, and he's getting better. Literally, it's taken years to get him to even where he is. So we can go and pretty much dance anywhere. But God, I've had a couple really good arm socket situations from pulling when he was supposed to push, things like that. But no, it's fun. It's definitely worth it. This is always good for a little humor. 5 sex positions women, and they say secretly, I think this is pretty out in the open, hate. Okay. Go, Colleen. I know you know. I bet you can call every single one of them.
Well, one of them's got to be 69.
Number 1.
Yeah, because it is a absolute movie fantasy thing. You cannot focus on your partner when stuff's going on down below. No. I think it's dangerous.
I think somebody could get bitten.
Mm-hmm. I think it's completely dangerous. Yeah.
Not that I know this firsthand or anything.
And then who is like the right sizes to actually have it work anyway?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know you're. Oh.
Got another one in mind?
I don't know. I'll
Lotus. So when both parties sit facing each other, it's kind of it's like it's weird. You make a flower.
No, that sounds like one of those bad Kama Sutra tantric things.
Yeah, and you can't move. Cowgirl, the regular cowgirl. And for others, think it's some women that's the only way they can climax. For others, they think it's too much work for no payback.
I think it's only fair to be on top every now and then.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to disagree heartily with that one.
That's like breathing. You just that's part of it.
Yeah, and the lazy one is like, it's a lot of work.
Are you really? That's funny. Well, this one's standing up. The guys think it's hard to hold a woman up, and, if she's helping herself, it's like, no, I'd rather just lay down, because I'm focusing too much on the other stuff.
Oh, there's too much gravity. No, that's dangerous as hell. No.
I'm too worried I would fall. How would you get in the mood? My guy did that. He tried to, sweep me off my feet. I've never had a guy pick me up before, because I'm, heavier, and he just grabbed me, and he's like trying to be sexy, like, hey, and I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna die. This is not on the list of things
not
that
erotic.
secretly make women horny. Put me on a roller coaster instead or something.
No, dangerous as hell. I suppose that it might work for someone if if one partner, and I'll just say partners. I won't even put the sex on there. One partner is truly strong enough, and the other person is small enough. It might work for them.
And not frightened.
Yeah, but it can't. Yeah, not. But honestly, I mean, you see this stuff, and you're like, no, that they're practicing, and backs can go out, and knees, and. And my mindset has not changed. I mean, even if I'm younger, I'm like, that's just dangerous. Not going there. No.
You've been practicing safe sex since the feather incident, haven't you? And it means that you have a very broad definition of what that is, don't you? Finally, not surprisingly, it's the reverse cowgirl. Which this one cracks me up. It's the way it's written. It says, trying to get your vagina comfortable in this position is tricky. Plus, it feels unnatural, and all your partner sees is your butthole.
And you can hurt the penis. It's too much for the guy.
It is.
The angle on that is...
Yes.
But once again, if the sizes are right, and you're small enough, and you can and limber enough, might work. But most folks, probably dangerous as hell.
For sure. Mm-hmm. You guys... I'm not familiar with the backstory on this. Maybe one of you are. Is there something with Doug Charney of American Apparel? Did he have some sort of scandalous thing? It talks about him.
I know that he was about as creepy as a boss as I think of the like Uber and a couple other folks. I don't think I think they've had some issues, but I'm not
fired from American Apparel in 2014 following accusations of sexual misconduct. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now he's working on a new label called Los Angeles Apparel. So he's scaling it down, but he's sleeping on the mattress factory floor there. And according to people that work there, he is just as gross as ever. And he says it's unavoidable. Sex with coworkers is unavoidable. So we'll just go ahead and take your resume off the list if this grosses you out, as well it should.
It is I would say that breathing is unavoidable. That would be good. And stuff like that. But you can avoid having sex with your coworkers.
I kind of see what he's saying, though. Like, if you're in a large company, consensual sex is going to happen. I mean, heck, we're a small company, and we've had 2 married couples now that met through the company. So I don't know that we can say
I don't know it's
that unusual, but
no, but you're talking about it. But to completely say that it's unavoidable is to, with this guy's background, he's using it as a rationalization, which is really hard for me to say right now, and not of the that a large percentage of people do meet their partners at work because that's where they spend a lot of time. Yeah, but it's not unavoidable.
Right. Exactly. Okay, I read this, but we didn't talk about it yet on the show. Senator Ted Cruz's Twitter account hitting a hardcore porn light. Did you guys hear about that?
Oh, yes. I looked at that because I just giggled. I'm like, honestly, it's like the most normal thing that he's ever done.
Right.
And when he talks about, it's none of anyone's business, I'm like, yeah. Pot, kettle, black.
Yeah.
It's not when pretty much his entire being is about poking his nose into other people's sex lives, and they're so it was absolutely fascinating that it's going through there, and I was just like, but honestly, I looked at it and said, it's like, if he actually hit it, it's the first absolutely ordinary thing he's ever done. It's the least creepy thing he's ever done.
Well, he blamed it on a staffing issue, which is funny. Apparently, there's a lot of people that have access to the account, and someone hit like, and he said, "I don't believe this was, malicious or whatever." But the part of the story that does crack me up is, he said, he wrote a memoir, I guess, which I wouldn't be bothering to read, but he does talk about in there
called "I Am the Zodiac Killer,"
something like that. And back when he was 26-year-old law clerking at the Supreme Court, they were looking at hardcore porn, and he talks about it because they were trying to find out whether or not, or decide whether or not online porn should be subject to regulations. And he quotes Sandra Day O'Connor muttering, "Oh my." Can you just picture that? I mean, the 9 Supreme Court justices are looking at porn. Like, that's funny. That's funny stuff.
It's just like, it's people having sex. I mean, my mom is the one that watches the DVDs when they come back and say they have a problem. But honestly, if you put an ex-ER nurse in there, she's like, I mean, one time she barely even noticed. She was looking at it, trying to figure out, we were laughing. I told you, I came in and everybody was green. And it was not what the movie was about. Oh. And but part of her was just like, she was so blasé about it. She goes, well, other than the fact that they're green, it seems to be okay. And I'm like, how much did you have to watch? I mean, it's green. There was just something wrong in the production, or it's and it wasn't folks from Mars have sex video.
Or the Monsters parody, which we've had and is pretty hilarious. The best part being halfway through the act when the green paint starts to come off all the dicks and vaginas. So it's like half of his dick is still green and the other half, and there's this white patch worn out around between the gal's legs. That's pretty entertaining.
That's good stuff.
I never really thought about that, but yes.
So, there's so many aspects to this last story today on the Great Northern Sexcast. I think we've mentioned the bikini baristas in Washington.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, and it's kind of fun, and whatever. I mean, if the girls want to work there, and if they feel like they make good money, and people want to patronize it, I think that there's a certain amount, as long as health codes are adhered to. But, no. Everett, Washington had to enact an anal cleft ordinance.
I have to admit, I had to look this up because there is a term that I'm pretty sure that they have made up. Anal cleft. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Okay, would you care to describe what you discovered?
I couldn't understand it. I mean, I didn't know if it was like plumber's butt crack or down lower. I mean, it made no sense.
Right.
But they're pretty much saying that you can't work in a fast food establishment if your midriff or your shoulders are showing, which is, there's no way in hell this is going to stand. I mean, it just isn't. It's horrible. But anal cleft.
Anal cleft.
I mean, the part of the article that got me was saying that the Seattle Seahawks cheerleaders uniforms would violate
That's
this.
Right.
Now, mind you, they're not serving food, but they obviously. I find it appalling that it's possible that a bikini barista exists. I mean, I sell sex toys and fun stuff for personal fun and entertainment and stuff like that. But the fact that a human body is still considered a chunk of meat, but in general, I mean, it's like this is it's the two sides. How to be consenting and sexual and happy and all these sort of things and not exploit somebody else. I mean, there's a way of doing it. We're still figuring it out. So my theory is if someone can make a $5 tip on a $5 drink because they're wearing a bikini, honestly, I'm not sure who's being exploited there.
I know. And that's what I'm saying. If it's consensual on all sides, then knock yourselves out, you guys. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get in the middle
because,
of it.
I mean, does this mean, honestly, you're not going to have, if they have a buffet at the local Chippendales now, or does that mean they're out of business? Because those guys don't have shirts on.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a very good chance that the way this is written, that it's horribly unconstitutional because it probably goes for women more than guys.
Mm-hmm.
Because what about and the fact that they had to make it so
graphic,
it's very narrowed. You need to have, when you're talking about ordinances, you have to be talking about secondary effects and all this sort of stuff. And there's no way they have anything to back anything up. So they're narrowly defining it. And so if someone came to, there's no way in hell that's going to hold up.
Well, I mean...
But it depends on whether or not someone has the money to fight it. There's the problem.
Well, and here's my whole thing. if your city council has nothing more to do than obsess over the asses of chicks that work in a coffee shop, like, really, do you not have any other issues in your city? Maybe that's
and this is right out there. I mean, I know that they always lump in that there's probably prostitution happening or something like that, but it's a coffee shop with bikinis. It's a very different thing.
Yeah.
If you want to, are there businesses that are fronts? Yeah, they are. This is no.
Right.
It's just because someone figured out a way. Women figured out how to make a buck, and they're squashing it. Believe me, if it was shirtless guys with if it was Chippendale serving coffee, we would not be having this issue.
Well, alrighty.
I just don't.
Final thoughts?
I don't like coffee, so.
Are you serious?
Yeah. No, she's the rock star person.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's that's the one you like the most?
The rock star, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think if you cut me, I would bleed.
Rock star.
Rock star. So if you're listening, rock star, I'll take a sponsorship.
Perfect.
Plug you some more.
All right. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on the Great Northern Sexcast. Find us on Facebook at Great Northern Sexcast and shoot us a message. Any funny stories, or they can be personal or something you find in the news. We'd love to hear from you.
Sounds great. Have a great week, everyone.